My wife brought me to her office party to publicly humiliate me. I didn't realize that at first. First, it just felt like an invitation. Come with me tonight, she said that morning, adjusting her blazer in the mirror. It'll be good for you to meet everyone. Her tone was light, casual. But there was something underneath it. Something rehearsed. I should have paid attention to that. My name is Adrian Cole. I'm 38 years old. And up until that night, I thought I understood my marriage. I thought I understood my wife. I was wrong. The party was on the 42nd floor of a glass building downtown. One of those places where everything reflects. Floors, walls, people. Even your own expression comes back at you sharper than you remember it. Her company had just closed a major deal. Something in finance, mergers, acquisitions. I stopped trying to follow the details a long time ago. What I understood was this. She was rising fast. And I was not. I run a small workshop. Custom furniture. Wood tools, long hours, inconsistent income. Honest work. But not the kind that impresses people holding champagne flutes under crystal chandeliers. She knew that. Of course she knew that. When we walked in, heads turned, but not toward me. They turned toward her. Elena. That's her name. Elena Brooks. Senior partner. Golden trajectory. The kind of person people describe as inevitable. They hugged her, laughed with her, praised her. I stood beside her like a shadow that hadn't been introduced yet. This is my husband, Adrian, she said eventually, like she was checking a box. Few polite nods. Couple of tight smiles. Then the questions started. So, Adrian, what do you do? Simple question. I've answered it 1,000 times. I build furniture, I said. Was. Not long. Just enough. Oh, one of them said. That's nice. That word again. I felt it settle in the room like dust. Elena laughed softly. He's being modest. It's more of a hobby that pays for itself. That was the first crack. Subtle. Easy to ignore if you wanted to. I didn't ignore it. But I stayed quiet. Because in my marriage, silence had always been the safer option. The night moved on. Drinks. Conversations. Stories I wasn't part of. I watched her work the room like it belonged to her. Every gesture precise. Every laugh measured. Every glance calculated. And slowly I started to notice something. This wasn't just a party. It was a performance. And I was part of the script. Around 9:30, she tapped her glass. Can I get everyone's attention for a second? The room shifted. Conversations softened. People turned. She stepped forward, smile bright, posture perfect. I just want to say how grateful I am to be part of this team, she began. This year has been transformative. Applause. She let it settle before continuing. And I couldn't have done it without the support of the people around me. Another pause. Then she looked at me. There it was. The moment. My husband, she said, her voice warm but her eyes, something else. Adrian has been incredibly supportive. Few people glanced my way. I nodded slightly. And by supportive, she continued, I mean he's given me the freedom to focus on my career without distractions. A ripple of laughter. Light, but real. I felt something tighten in my chest. He's never really had the same level of ambition, she added, tilting her head just enough to make it look like concern. But that's okay. Not everyone is built for this kind of pressure. The laughter came easier this time. Stronger. Directed. Me. I didn't move. I didn't react. But something inside me shifted. 'Cause now I understood. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't careless. This was intentional. She was using me as contrast. As proof. As the before in her success story. And she wasn't done. You know, she continued, pacing slowly. When we first got married, I thought we were building something together. Her voice softened. But sometimes, you outgrow people. The room went very still. That wasn't humor anymore. That was something sharper. Something deliberate. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And for the first time in years, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger who had been studying me long enough to know exactly where to cut. And that's when I made a decision. Not to interrupt, not to argue, but to finish the story she had started. She raised her glass. To growth, she said. The room echoed it. To growth. Glasses clinked. And then, before she could move on, I stepped forward. Can I say something? It wasn't loud, but it carried. She froze for half a second. Just half. Then she smiled again. Controlled. Of course, she said. But I saw it. The flicker. She hadn't planned for this. I took the glass from her hand, set it down gently, and turned to the room. My wife is right, I said. I'm not ambitious. A few people shifted, unsure where this was going. I don't chase titles. I don't measure my worth in deals or numbers or how many people recognize my name in a room like this. I glanced at her. She was watching me now, closely, calculating. I build things, I continued. Real things. Tables people eat at. Chairs people sit in. Pieces that last longer than the conversations happening here tonight. The room got quieter. Not awkward. Just attentive. And while I was building those things, I said, I was also building something else. I reached into my jacket. Pulled out my phone. I wasn't going to do this here, I said. But since we're talking about growth, I tapped the screen. Turned it toward the nearest group. You see, about 2 years ago I started documenting my work. Just posting it online. No expectations. A few people leaned in. Curiosity. That's all it takes. And it turns out, I said, there's a market for craftsmanship. For authenticity. For things that aren't mass-produced or optimized for quarterly reports. I scrolled. Showed them. Orders. Messages. Features. Recognition. Real tangible interest. In the last 12 months, I continued, that hobby brought in just over $1.8 million in revenue. Silence. Not the polite kind. The kind that recalculates everything. I didn't look at her yet. I let it sit. I didn't mention it, I added, because I didn't think it mattered. Now I looked at her. But apparently we're measuring value tonight. Her smile was gone. Completely. I also didn't mention, I said calmly, that I recently signed a partnership deal. I tapped again. Another screen. Logos. Contracts. The workshop is expanding. We're opening a second facility next quarter. A man near the front cleared his throat. Wait, you're Adrian Cole. From? Yes, I said simply. Recognition spread. Yes, because success, once visible, moves quickly in rooms like that. I turned back to her. You said I gave you freedom, I said. My voice stayed even. I did. Beep. But not the way you think. She didn't speak. Couldn't. I stepped back, I continued. Because I believed in you. Because I thought we were a team. Another pause. And teams don't keep score like this. The room wasn't on her side anymore. You could feel it. A shift. Subtle but irreversible. I don't mind being underestimated, I said. It's quiet. It's productive. I picked up the glass again. Held it for a second. But being disrespected. I set it down. That's different. I stepped back. Not dramatically. Just enough. I think you've said everything you needed to say. I finished. No applause. No noise. Just silence. Heavy. Final. I walked toward the exit without looking back. The elevator ride down was quiet. Oh. For the first time that night I could breathe. My phone buzzed once. A message from her. Just 3 words. Adrian, wait. I didn't. Some things don't need another conversation. Some things end the moment they're exposed. That night didn't destroy my marriage. It revealed it. And sometimes that's worse. But it's also cleaner. Because when someone shows you who they are in a room full of witnesses, you don't owe them privacy in your response. You just owe yourself the truth. And the truth is simple. Respect isn't something you negotiate in public. It's something you either have or you don't.